This is the Simpit. Are you not entertained? There you go, Tom. No, this is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Pitstop, where you, the pit crew, you are the real star of today's show. And I really mean that, especially on Fridays, because we will go a little long in conversation today in lieu of missing Billy. We miss Billy very much for the Beyond the Sim. So we will just have to carry on our own conversations. You guys are going to have to fill Billy's seat, in other words. So there is some news to talk about. There are things worthy of mentioning on a Friday. And then I do have a couple of topics that I want to talk to you guys about. So we will have a little bit of time for conversation. And of course, being that you guys are the pit crew, being that you are the real star of the show, feel free to comment with any questions or anything you want me to address. Please type in a couple of question marks and then type in your question or your comment that you think I need to be aware of in the chat. Makes it a little easier for me to find. So anyway, thank you for being there. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope you're having a good week so far. I'm having a great week. I hate when I don't want to do selfish things. I don't like bragging about things that I do or get to do, but we all have bucket lists. We all have things. Anyway, yesterday I was actually at Exotic Racing. And yes, good, well done. Saw that right away, Theodore. And yesterday I went to Exotic Racing, and I was actually able to drive a Porsche GT3 on the racetrack again. I want to thank John Hill for coming with me. Let me try to. I wasn't gonna do this, but I just can't resist. So let's see what I'm talking about here. And forgive the wind sound. No, I don't have the windows. Anyway, this is a shot of me. Thank you, John Hill, for getting this. This is a shot of me in the GT3 Porsche GT3 RS at California Speedway, putting down a pretty good lap time here. Actually, just to let you guys know, I actually ran within 1/100th of their best lap time in that car on that track yesterday. So had a great time. Thank you, John, for driving me out there and killing time with me and having a great time. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, you guys. I've been having a lot of fun. I gotta tell you, living the life of Shaun is not so bad. I might not make a lot of money, but I do have a lot of fun. Anyway, so that is my news. That's where I was yesterday and why you didn't hear much of me yesterday. But everything is back to normal. I will be doing a full show telling you my entire experience at Exotic Racing. And obviously, it's something, that is on our bucket list. I don't like to brag, but I'm about to. Shaun Cole 2019. Me and my buddy Terry actually have a joke that's not to brag, but, it's sort of a slam because we do it to each other all the time. Yeah, it was super duper windy out there, like 50-mile-an-hour gusts. The Porsche didn't know it. I just, if you were outside, you sure did. Yes, Tom Jones. It's so right. If it weren't for John Hill, I'd be a vampire. So, anyway, thank you for that yesterday, John. It was really cool. Had a great time. Anyway, what's going on in sim racing? Enough about me. What's going on in sim racing? Yes, Theodore, that is way more visible. If everybody knew how to do that, that would be even better. I don't even know how to do that. So, iRacing, they've got their iRacing Downshift number 13 with the Zach Novak interview. So, Zach Novak has been all over the news. I saw a shot of him at ESPN. We've seen him all over the place. He was at the iRacing headquarters. And they, this kid wins $40,000. And I say kid, he's 17 years old. So, he was in the latest, greatest of the iRacing podcasts. And you can find that via the iRacing main page. You have a list of buckets that you'd like to buy. Bucket lists could be a whole show. We all have our own bucket lists. Funny, a lot of mine involve racing or race tracks or race cars or exotic cars. It's hard for me to think of many bucket list items that don't involve that in some way, shape, or form for the most part. Christian, thank you. Yes. Tom Jones found it. Excellent. What are your bucket list items? What are the things that you think that just, man, before I die, I got to do this at least once? And I got to tell you, I've knocked 3 items off my bucket list in the last month. And I'll do a full show on it. So, all right, what else? Alex Bergeron scores iRacing USAC World Championship win at Williams Grove. Congratulations to him on that as things heat up in that series, then we'll just kind of stay with it as it goes along. Here are the points after 7 rounds. David Hellman with 535 points over Alex Bergeron with 407. So that's almost a lockdown on that USAC championship. James Edens in third with 379. And you got to like the name, Cole Cabre in fourth with 357. So there they go. You like Tom's idea? Oh, wouldn't that be a great one, Tom? And then I go from racetrack to racetrack in my motorhome. Oh, sorry, Ola's got the flu. I am a little congested, but not sick, just a little congested. I like to drive a Formula car at Mossport. David Payne, why Mossport? I mean, I love Mossport. I don't mean it like that, but why is it Mossport? You know, I understand Formula 1 car. You pick the pinnacle motorsport there. There's a hole in your bucket list. Marco excuse me, made me choke there. Run your hair through Shaun Cole's hair. I don't really have enough. Tom Jones, another bucket list is to watch my DD2 review. I'm guessing it's Grant Henderson's bucket list as well. Joel, we'll make that happen one day. I guarantee it. Somehow, some way. We'll find a moment, a time, a common ground. All right, what else is going on in sim racing? You keep them coming with your bucket list items. I want to hear from you. What do you need to do before you die, or life would just be incomplete? And, you know, a theory, if you have a bucket list and it's really small, I suppose the day I've knocked everything off my bucket list, I could die happily. That's sad to say, but I better get to it at the same time. All these rude interruptions. That's a robocall. There you go. David Bring on the Pain would actually like to do it in the formal manner to the point that he gets his racing license. It's an obtainable goal. If that's your bucket list, you know, you just need to set your agenda, and you just need to save some money and do it. Raphael asks, what happened to my Leo Bodner wheel? I still have it. I love that wheel. Do I just prefer the Accuforce? I do prefer the Accuforce. Theodore donated through chat. Thank you very much, Theodore. For me, it's not so much. Okay, so in full disclosure, Xperience is one of my sponsors. So before, you know, I like to put things out front. Now, in all fairness, they're both great wheels. A Xperience Accuforce versus a Leo Bodner. I can tell you that the Leo Bodner, as much as I love that wheel, you are paying a lot of money for that Kohler motor in particular, and the you know, everything behind it. It's like the premium, and maybe I dare say unnecessary. It far more power than I ever need out of a wheel. So I think for me, part of it is I like promoting a realistic concept of sim racing to the public. I don't want people to think they have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in order to sim race at a great level. So I think the Accuforce shows that better. And then the other part is that the Accuforce with the Sim Commander software allows me to do some things to my wheel that no other wheel lets me do. So I like a lot of engine vibration. I like a lot of road noise. I like things to make my wheel lively on cars that sometimes have a static feel to them, and it helps remind me that everything's still working and going. So there's my full disclosure, full answer on that wheel. David Sampson, thank you for subscribing, much appreciated. Bucket cup. Bucket list, get a key to Barry Rowland's garage. No kidding, wouldn't that be the best? Yep, Bruce Parker, I'm with you on that one. Driving Nordschleife is one of my bucket list items for sure. And take a ride in the taxi. Why not drive it yourself? You could learn every corner in sim. Chris Bassett, you have big huevos. Toboggan and skeleton should be on every speed freak's bucket list. What a rush. I'm proud I've ticked it off. I don't know. That's kind of scary to me. Like a vibrator? I wouldn't quite use that way of describing it. All right. 100K subs. Here we come. Thank you very much. Project Cars. So their Logitech G Challenge regional finals are kicking off. So they're in honor of that. They're giving away a premium ticket to the EU. So obviously you got to be willing to travel, which includes a meet and greet with Lando Norris, real-life McLaren F1 driver, dinner, reserved seats in the front 3 rows, merchandise goodie bag, and early access. You need to do this. So Twitch TV Actual Vision, which is the name of the competitions that go on at Project Cars. 420 BST, 26th of October. Make sure you are following. So again, I'm finding this through the Project Cars Twitter page. And if you're in the UK, EU, where is it exactly? They didn't tell us exactly. Regional finals, V8 Hotel Köln at Motor World, Germany. So specifically, if you're within a stone's throw of that, it might be worth it to you to do that. That would be, come on, whether you love the competition, whether you love eSport, any of that, who cares? You would get a premium ticket to the EU Logitech G Challenge, which includes a meet and greet with Lando Norris. Dude, that would be pretty cool. Dinner, reserved seats, merchandise goodie bag, and early access. So all you have to do is follow them by tomorrow. That's tomorrow, October 26th. Yeah, isn't that kind of weird? Why wouldn't you meet Fernando Alonso? That's a great question, Christian. Simracing Source says, everyone needs a sim lab rig. That's there, it's settled. Okay. No, we don't need to cure baldness. You have some hair to give away. Dan, a Sim Labs rig on Dan for everyone. I think that is a bucket list for sure. All right, what else? Project Cars, also the new season of the ACR, the Actual Vision Time Trial League starts Sunday. So if you are looking for something to do in Project Cars, a lot of people talk Project Cars, and it's one of those sims I honestly say it might be the biggest victim of, now you bought the sim, what are you going to do with it? If you are looking for some community racing, you're looking for a good leaderboard challenge sanctioned through Project Cars, check out the ACR Time Trial League starting Season 4. When is it starting? They said next week, I think. Start Sunday. So there you go. Now you know. Version 1.10 of Dirt Rally 2.0 is coming out next week. Take a look at the patch notes. So that link, we'll look at that in a moment. In addition, we have 2 new cars that are now in the game. We already talked about the Peugeot 206 rally car. Now we also have the Volkswagen Golf kit car. A little video of each of those if you want to check that out. And then we have the release notes. So we have new locations. Jomsa, Finland, available November 5th. New location, Killarney International Raceway, South Africa, available November 19th. New location, Lydden Hill, UK, December 3rd. New liveries on the 5th, new liveries on the 3rd. VR optimization overall for Steam VR performance to match that of Oculus SDK. Redesigned Oculus SDK preset graphic settings to use VR config file. Same file used by Steam VR in previous version. That's the weirdest crisscross. We're going to go after it's going to be much like the Oculus SDK, which we've matched to the Steam VR, which is what we've now optimized to match that of the Oculus SDK, but reassign the Oculus SDK to use the VR config, the same one used by the Steam VR, which we've optimized overall. Do you see where I'm going with that? It's Friday! And various other changes and things to Dirt Rally. So that's good news. What else? F1, I think we had a few things. There's an F1 patch 1.15 out, which we talked about out for the PS4. I heard words other platforms either got it or are getting it very quickly. So we'll look at that in a moment. In addition, they're talking about some Halloween graphics coming. We're going to get back to that as well. We had the Formula One F1 eSport Qualifier Pro Draft. Here are the final the standings from the last event there. David Sedgwick, Tom Stevens, and Tomas Burgess were the top 3 finishers on that one. And then we have a bunch of shots here. So here's shots and shots and shots of the race. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. We promoted this getting into it. And here's the Xbox playoff. Tomas Burgess, Catherine Omerod, and Julian Van Brush. Hey, TechWare, how you doing? And what else? Oh, so then we had our patch notes as well. So here's a variety of changes and updates. Crystal clear. Thank you, David. Recursion overload. Programmer. Streaming Oculus VR and Dirt sucks now. Techware, how you doing? All right, how we doing? What else? So some of the patch notes. Albon Gasly have been moved to Red Bull Racing Toro Rosso. This will not affect existing career saves. AI race start performance variants updated. Blah blah blah. So patch notes 1.15 update to F1 2019. That's good. Techware. Okay, so Techware asks, and again, anybody who ever has a question for me, specifically asking the chat's a different story, please put in 3 or 4 or 5 question marks before your question so I can see it clearly in the chat. Helps me out a lot. But Techware and anybody chime in with an answer for him because this is a great question. Can someone, for the sake of Pete, help me with tips to get my safety rating up? I seem to be magnet for wreckers. All right, Techware, here's the one thing that I would say, and I see Devin Booth getting you an answer as well. When it comes to iRacing, you need to think of your safety rating and your iRating completely separately. And the more you separate the two when trying to raise either one, you will fare much better. And the point I'm making is, if you're trying to license up, if you're trying to get your safety rating up, where you finish in the race is 100% irrelevant. So if all you're trying to do is increase that safety rating, start in the pit. Don't qualify. Take a terrible qualifying and start at the back. Give a ton of space. Let people pass you at ease or with will, at will or with ease. And make sure that whatever you do, don't put a wheel off the track and don't touch another car. No matter what you, if you had to slam on the brakes and come to a complete stop, as long as you don't spin out and as long as you don't contact or go off track, you will raise your safety rating. On the other hand, if you're trying to increase your iRating, it comes down 100% to where you finish. And it doesn't matter if you had 1,000 incidents as long as you didn't get disqualified from the event. You need to finish in the upper half. You need to finish higher than the qualifying number that you have as your ranking in the race. So that's my quick 1-2 punch, and that's going to overlap something we're going to talk at the end of the show about with the Tofi questions as well. So there's my quickie version of that answer. Grid, apparently the Cadillac DPI VR makes its console racing debut in Grid. Anybody who has Grid already knows this, but this just made me think. So the Cadillac, this is the first and only game to have the Cadillac DPI. We're still speculating on that Corvette, aren't we? The mid-engine Corvette. What game is going to bestow the Corvette first? That is something I definitely want to know. Rip Cushion asks, hello, Billy. Welcome to the show. Glad you're able to tune in while working. Rip the Cushion asks, dabs are a must before the race. I'm going to say for some, perhaps. For others, absolutely not. I think you've definitely found something. There will be a line in the sand of one group and another group. So I think we'll leave that at that. Yep, Brad Morrison, I completely agree. Max is barking at somebody. He's just making noise. Should we get him in here? I was going to get my Max cam up and running. I haven't figured out the how yet, but we're working on that. Max, come get a treat. Come here. Max, come. There he comes. That's a good boy. Come here. You can push it open. Come on. You can do it. Push it. Oh, hold on. Come on. What do I got for you? That's a good boy. That's a good boy. All right. Next time you're going to get a camera on you. All right. Sorry about that. Happy Friday. It's the Friday edition of the Pit Stop where we just kick back and take a little extra time in missing Billy Strange. Billy, I'm not sure if you were here at the beginning, but we talked about taking a much slower pace today in honor of how much we miss you. All right, so who's going to get the Cadillac? Who's going to get the Corvette? I cannot wait till the Corvette, mid-engine Corvette, makes it into a sim. I cannot wait till the Corvette makes it into a sim, and I know a lot of you feel the same way. So anyway, that's our little news. It's not news. It's just a reminder of that question that I have to myself and to you. Here's the F1. I told you we had some F1 shenanigans going on. What the heck am I looking at here? What is wrong with this photo? No, excuse me. So, F1 2019 is coming out with these crazy Halloween liveries, and that is Lando Norris in car. That is Lando Norris's car in honor of Halloween. I'm not sure how you even get it, but they just say there's some spooky goings on in F1 2019, available now on PC and coming very soon to Xbox One and PS4. Halloween-themed custom items. Anyway, that's kind of spooky. Get it? Spooky. Yep, that's all we had on that. That's kind of funny, though. So, the NASCAR Heat, big deal. The championships has all been going on. I notified you guys, told you guys this was going on. How many of you guys got a chance to check it out? Anyway, it was at ISM Raceway. We talked about that. 70 laps. Pit window would be 18 to 24 laps. 4 times wear. Interesting. They're running 4 times wear. I didn't know that. Pole sitter for the Xbox group was SHG Slick. PS4 pole sitter was Pennzoil 2. And let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's NASCAR Heat Pro League Championship race. Here you are. I see. What do I see here? Here's what I see. I see 1, 2, 3 people. That being Jacob Kerr, Diego DD18, and KC16X, who I think those are human names, and they are apparently up against 9 AI drivers. Let's assume that means AI drivers. When I think SHG Slick is just an AI driver, right? HD Motorsports 95 AI driver, I'm sure of it. Anyway, all right, I'm getting carried away. But this picture, I think, makes my point. How am I going to root for SHG Slick 14X? Because he looks just like SHG Hot Rod 14. So how on earth would I tell which one was which? Anyway, come on. How hard is it to use your real friggin' name if you're at this level? You know, if that's the name you got in on, great. But that should have been one of the rules for NASCAR Heat. Sorry, we have to switch you to your real name. You're going to win real money, so you use your real name. And by the way, can you send a picture with your face instead of carrying it up? Hairy hands. Theodore, you are so... That's so mean. Anyway, in the end, it was Stuart Haas Gaming that won the whole thing in the Pro League with the wild finale at the virtual ISM Speedway. I didn't get a chance to see it. I was kind of doing some other things. And here's a good look at the competition. And I will applaud them on this. This is a great looking set. Looks like it photographs well. I hope it filmed well. Did anybody watch the competition? Does anybody know how it played out? Was it good? Was it worth watching? Did it represent Simracing well? Gran Turismo, 1 day to go until Tokyo. That was 15 hours ago, so I believe that actually means today. Other news out of Gran Turismo. We have a few bits of news, though. Number 1, the Jaguar Vision. So the Jaguar electric car prototype, the Vision concept car, is now in is coming to Gran Turismo. I'm not sure if it's been released or if it's like eminently coming. But this is now being showed off. There's also a video that you can find it on YouTube. I'm actually at GT Planet right now. It's fugly. Aw, that Jag is fugly. At least I didn't call it a Aston Martin. So yeah, they have the new Vision announcement. It was a big deal. I found this all over the place. There's Kazunori. Do you guys know Kazunori's face? Do you know? There he is, right there on the left. Oh, missed it again. That's him on the left. If you're a fan of GT Sport, you should know him. That is Kazunori. That's his interpreter right there. That guy's been with him forever, by the way. Same interpreter for, like, ever. I wonder what that guy gets paid, by the way. Hey, Bucho! Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday, buddy. Dude on the right is using a controller. Oh, my God. That's sacrilegious. Oh, let's see. Who said that? Simracing Source. If you'd like a Simpit sticker for that incredible pickup by Simracing Source on the controller. This guy in the white shirt. This guy must be one of those gamer. I want to bet that's a gamer tag. What are the odds on that? That would be irony if he was one of the actual ones with a human name. Excellent pickup. If you would like a Simpit sticker, just send me an email. shaun@thesimpit.com. And I will send with your address and your color preference, orange, black, blue, or white, and I will send you a Simpit sticker for that incredible pickup. That was out of nowhere. I'm very impressed. Oh, are we? Okay, so we're not done with the fugly car. Let's go back to fugly. All right. What are your thoughts, you guys? I like that profile. I do like the profile. And you gotta love Gran Turismo. Look at the way it shows this car as we sit here judging its look. I like that angle. It's kind of futuristic Batman almost. Your thoughts? Is it fugly or is it beautiful? Certainly futuristic, that's for sure. Poor outward vision. Yeah, it's probably all cameras at this point, you know, looking to the future for this type of a car. Fast but ugly. All right, so we talked about the Vision car. We talked about their announcement. Well, also, look, same event. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps is finally coming to GT Sport next week, probably, says GT Sport. This coming off of that big announcement video and all the things they talked about. So, this is something that is a very big deal. Spa. How many people? I mean, I'm surprised when we talked bucket list that a few people did not mention Spa. It is very much an iRobot car, I think. Yeah, I'm with you there. I was going to mention the BMW i8, which looks nothing like that Jaguar, but it also has always reminded me of the iRobot car. Yes, TechWare mentions beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yes, I 100% agree. So there you go. It's a beautiful car to some. That doesn't make them wrong. It's fugly to others, and that doesn't make them wrong. I'll bet it's going to drive like the you know what, however. So Spa, what do you think of that? Spa coming to GT Sport. Pretty big deal. So WRC has a patch as well. It's finally there. The online multiplayer mode. Online multiplayer mode for WRC 8 is now available on PC. Download the latest update to play with your friends. This is patch number 1.3. And if we go to the patch notes, we have a whole list. But again, the main thing being the online multiplayer mode is now available. Some tweaks and changes to career mode, improvements, and bug fixes as well. But again, now you can multiplayer WRC 8. That's a game changer. Also, another update. Look at this. So many updates today. What a great Friday. It's Update Friday. Wreckfest Fall Update now available. The weather's getting colder, at least in our parts of the world. But in the cockpit, it's getting warmer and warmer, if not downright hot. We're happy to let you know the latest update of the game is out, and we have a surprise for you. Among other goodies, the update brings you not only one, but 2 new tracks. So we can now drive Dry Town Desert and Rockfield Rough Spot tracks, in addition to some gameplay changes, interface changes, game engine changes, multiplayer improvements, and audio and modding as well. So great news. I think we're going to have to play some Wreckfest. Unfortunately, tomorrow I'm going down to work on the Porsche 924 project, so I won't be able to Wreckfest it up tomorrow. But we'll get something going for sure. What else? Thrustmaster. Oh, so this is kind of a bummer story. I'm a big fan of Thrustmaster. I will say that. Gran Turismo World Tour Tokyo apologizes to the GT competitors. So apparently there was some glitch, something that didn't work right, a bug. I don't know the details, but for some reason the TGT, which has been the wheel of this competition throughout, has an issue. And Thrustmaster has pulled the wheel from the competition and is going to be replacing it with a different wheel in order to carry on. But this is the first time we've ever heard of a hardware issue at this level where something really went wrong. I remember at Visa Vegas, a whole rig, something was wrong with a rig. But this was a different one. This wasn't a wheel, or maybe it was a wheel that led to it. But this is a big blow. This is a big blow to the competition, big blow to Thrustmaster, and I wonder how much it'll affect the competitors having to make a wheel change. Yeah, maybe late tonight. I mean, tonight we have the Skippy race, but maybe we can play some tonight. I mean, you guys play tonight. You guys play tomorrow morning. I'm hoping maybe I can find a group to play with me on maybe Sunday then. I have so much work to do, but I want to try out the new Wreckfest, that's for sure. 924 is totally Wreckfest, and we're running it in Lemons or Lucky Dog or Chump Car, which is kind of like Wreckfest, unfortunately. We don't want to wreck in there, but there are. You need a sugar mama for the Wreckfest season pass, Frito? Yep, the 944 had some ump. Ours is like, yeah, we're going to have to, we're finding some power. Okay, so let's talk 924. It's Friday. The American spec 924 made 110. The Euro spec made like 125. So that one difference was the smog. Smog pump, catalytic converters, that kind of stuff, none of which is on our car. So that puts ours to 125. Next up is we have ceramic headers and very good exhaust system on the car. The car we got came with a really nice exhaust. That's going to be good for what, 10? So let's say that gets us to 135. We have a ported and polished intake. Intake manifold. That's going to be good for a few horsepower. We are switching from the junky fuel injection that came on that car to double Webers, which if tuned right could be good for another 10 horse. We're hoping to be somewhere between 140 and 150 horsepower, which does not sound a lot, but our car weighs between 2,000 and 2,200 pounds, and what we're really trying to do is build a car that isn't a Miata that can actually compete with the Miata. Yes, and then the 50 horsepower Simpit stickers. Yes, I'm not sure if I get any real estate on the car. I'm going to have to try to sneak one on. Okay. Techwear, does this affect all wheels of that base or just the wheel? I don't know, Techwear. This could be it could be very PS4 specific because the TGT is specifically made for the PS4. So that could be where the problem lies. I don't know. Wow, wouldn't that be great? Simracing Source says maybe it's just a publicity stunt for a new DD wheel from Thrustmaster. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be awesome. A road and a race version of X19. That's beautiful. Techwear. I'm so behind on things that I'm not getting to personal stories. I actually have a whole story behind the Lotus at Laguna Seca. I will do my best to chronicle what we do in that 924, for sure. But I have to get better at production. I have to simplify still. Okay, what else? Check this out. So Simucube, we haven't heard much news out of them. I can't. Simucube, I can't say anything. Anyway, post a photo of your sim racing rig with hashtag Simucube, and hashtag myrig in Instagram, and have a chance to win a rare Simucube cap. Simucube caps will be awarded to the staff-picked photos until the 24th of November. See the details and then a link to the Instagram. Now, I don't know. Now, if you don't have a Simucube, you're probably thinking, okay, well, I don't have a Simucube. But that's a cool hat, no matter what, right? That is just a cool hat. I would wear that. I don't wear hats. But if I did, I'd wear that hat. Anyway, they didn't say that you had to have a picture of a Simucube. I don't know, maybe your dog in the seat will be cuter than a Simucube on your mount. It might be worth entering. It's as simple as sending in some photos and hashtagging them properly, and you could win that very cool hat. I like that hat. So there you go. What else? McLaren congratulating Igor Fraga. Igor Fraga, man, this guy he's my hero. Igor Fraga is my hero. Formula Regional European Championship final in Monza. Third place in the championships for Igor Fraga. 3 pole positions, 1 first place. Race 1 first place. Race 2 first place. Race 3 third place. And anyway, great job by Igor Fraga showing the real life people how to get it done. So, in addition to that, we have the Assetto Corsa qualifier starting off this Sunday for the McLaren Shadow competition, which is a little confusing. We talked about that rooftop thing. Remember that? I'm so confused with all the eSport going on. I have to admit, even though we talk about it all the time, I'm getting to the point where I'm a little confused by what's what at times. Speaking of the Pro Series live show, I don't know where our graphic went. 12 days, 1 hour, 27 minutes away, so keep that in your calendars. In addition to that, we are 4 days away from the Steam Halloween sale, so that's 96 hours, 21 minutes, and 28 seconds. Keep that in your calendar and get your wallets ready. Grid 2, just another article talking about the fun. So once you get used to it, I'm not sure what they meant by that. Once you get used to it, you won't stop having fun. So another thumbs up for Grid 2019. I definitely have to get a copy of that. Try out that Cadillac we talked about earlier. So just another video there. This is an interesting story, and there's very little to it, which kind of bummed me out. I'm not a big fan of short stories, but essentially, Haas is talking to Kubica about a simulator role for their team. So Haas are talking to Polish driver Robert Kubica about the test and simulator role the U.S.-owned Formula One team set on Thursday. Kubica is 34, has already announced that he's leaving Williams at the end of the season, and they're speaking about this potential role for him. So we'll have to stay tuned on that. We only mention it because it's a simulator job. This is where I'm starting to get a little blue in the face and not knowing what's going on, but this could be good news. Millennial eSport to create the world's first dedicated eSport racing arena in Miami. I guess it would be the world's first in Miami. It's far from the world's first. I don't even like trying to piggyback that. Just say you're building a world-class dedicated eSport racing arena. But yeah, this is specific for racing. So again, Millennial eSport to create world's first dedicated eSport racing arena. Not eSport, but eSport racing arena in Miami. And keep in mind, at the same time, this is as there is a big push for the Miami Grand Prix, the Formula One, to actually have a race on the streets of Miami. And this has been in the works, and it's been on, it's been off, it's been on, it's been off. Like, I mean, this happens. It happens with IndyCar, like the Boston race, things like that. Be really awesome if they pulled this off. Maybe this is a move towards that happening. Kubica, because I said it wrong. Kubica, I think that's more proper. Sorry about that, Robert. So anyway, 12,000 square foot arena. It'll be in the Wynwood, Miami area near some restaurants, breweries, retail areas, and that could be kind of cool. Raikkonen, the guy's always got a great quote. I like the way this one points a finger, though. We should stay home and forget the racing, Raikkonen says if F1 wants to go green. In my opinion, you could stay home and still race So that would be the run and change. You want to go green F1? Well, why don't you just fire all those billion-dollar people and that whole thing? Kubica, I said it right. I corrected myself before you got it. I apologize, though. And I might have said Porsche earlier, and I am sorry, Porsche. It's Porsche. And I'm sorry, Kubica. It's not Kubica. Never mind. I can't even do it wrong now. Anyway, my version of green racing would be to stay home and race, not to stay home and forget the racing. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. Forza Horizon 4 Series 15 update touts upgrade heroes. Bugatti Divo, Koenigsegg CCGT, the Rosoin? What is a Rosian? What's a Rosian? Someone? Oh, from Noble? This is, alright, I know Noble. So this is the Noble Rosian Q1, which is like the next level version of the Noble M12. Is that right? I'm not sure about that. Anyway, that's cool. 2010 BMW M3 GTS and a variety of other things in the 15th update. Is that right? 15th update to Forza Horizon. There you go. Tech. It's called Porsche because it's the sound your wallet makes when you buy one. Porsche. I think both should race, Bucho. Zanardi and Kubica. Doesn't matter. Karting. How realistic are the current simulators? Just an article, tech right up here at Driving Italia. We've talked about various... he's doing the super tuck. I hear that this was like made an illegal maneuver in certain series. I used to super tuck, but someone told me that is no longer always legal. I always thought I had one advantage, a couple advantages. One of them being my size. I could get my head down pretty darn low. So Max is saying he wants a Porsche. I agree. He'd like to drive around in a Porsche. I would too. So please donate to the Simpit. We are saving up for a few things here in the Simpit. We're saving up for a Porsche. Sure, a GT3 RS would be awesome. We're trying to get the Simpit jet going, and I just saw the new G700. That would be nice. If we did that, we could definitely have a beer, Joa. If we did that, we could definitely grab all of our friends and bring them to one place to play and have fun. So, yeah. Today's butchering of names. Just send in a list of names and I'll go live on Twitch and just like read 20 names or things like that. Oh, Billy Strain says on big tracks they were not allowed to tuck. Yep. Now, some of the leagues I used to run with were actually the aero, the like enduro kart guys with aero packages. So even though I was in an upright shifter, they didn't frown on such things when I ran those events. On little tracks, it never really mattered that much. But like at California Speedway, on the banking, it made a huge difference. I mean, that literally might have been good for like 10 miles an hour on its own. So this is going on. The FIA Motorsport Games, everything is ready in Rome for Motorsport Games. So the first edition of the international event organized by the IAF will take place at Vallelunga from October 31st to November 3rd. ACI Sport as host federation presents its representative in 5 different categories. So anyway, this is a big thing going on there. I don't know much about it, but another big competition with big sanctioning bodies behind it. So we are getting down to eye candy. I see eye candy coming up, and we're going to talk about the Skippy. And then I do have a couple of topics of discussion that I have in mind that were brought up by Tom and Tofi. So if there's anything that you think we should be talking about, any topics, any questions you have, now is the time to start sending them in. And that's the only way we'll be able to extend the show. Otherwise, we'll call it to a day and get back to work. But this is a post here by Only Here for the Memes. And this is his sim racing setup. Look at that. The Playseat Challenger cockpit. That is the best, one of the best no-frills, truly put it in the closet scenarios I know of in sim racing. And I've always been impressed with that chair. I always called it lawn furniture. It's like a chair you'd put next to your pool, but it actually gets the job done with a lightweight wheel. Here's another setup. Look at this. This is like the Butcher Block Deathmobile with a next level. Is that a next level rig front? Tim, this should motivate you. That is a wheels, a seat stand pulled up underneath a wheel stand. Just finished his build. This comes to us from Mike Oxbigger. Not to us. These are posted on Reddit. I'm taking credit like they're sent in. I wish you guys sent them in. We'd probably get more than one photo on a lot of them. It's the GT Omega Apex built on a sturdy wooden rig on casters. Very happy with the results. Love the way the guys, I always talk about keeping notes. Or a log book, your setup book, just like a real race team does. This guy's got the dry erase board right above. Who needs a fourth monitor? I do it by hand. Anyway, great looking effort there. I like it. Casters, always a plus. The whiteboard, should we try to zoom in on it and see his notes? There we go. There's what's on the whiteboard. I don't know what it is. Anyone? Anyone know what this gibberish is? Fascinating. All right, this one posted on Reddit by Eddie Wolfgang, and this would be our clean rig. Is that a P1? That looks like something similar. Looks like a profile type rig of some sort with really nice monitors, and look at that computer. You almost would think that was like a Red Bull refrigerator or something. That's his computer. Hey now, that's pretty badass. Was that the Mike Oxbigger? Yes, that's the Butcher board. You know him? All right, so that's that. We've seen our rigs, and now a couple things to talk about. Number one, Simpit Skippy Series. Congratulations, David Grunnell, on winning last week's race. Andrew Leach finished in second. George Sandman finished in third. Anybody not aware, we actually switched. I had the points not right. I made a points correction. And so that gets us to where we're actually following IndyCar points, the way they scored in IndyCar Series. And there is still room in our series. I just accepted a handful of new members, so people who already missed the first race, but it's all in fun for the most part. Tonight we will be at Phoenix International in what is going to be a very tricky track. If you're running in the series with us and you have not driven, it's a tricky track It's a tricky track on warmed up tires. On cold tires, it's downright sketchy. So please put in the practice laps. Turn 1 is just a little scary in that car for sure. And so is the final corner onto the oval. But it should be exciting. I will be streaming live on Twitch starting at about 5 o'clock with the pregame and warm-up. And then we'll go live at about 6:10, 6:15 with the race. Tonight, and of course, I'd rather rather than watch, I always would prefer you raced with us. Just go to iRacing Leagues and join the Simpit Skippy Series, and I'll accept applications up till 5 o'clock. Once I'm in the room driving, I'm not going to be accepting anymore, but there's definitely time to get in on that tonight. And that takes us to our topics, a couple. First thing, it comes to us from Tom Cow, we call him. And this was a post by Sledgehammer on Reddit. So, the title is, we're not going to go into great detail on his wording. I want your opinions and thoughts on the topic. Is anyone else tired of eSport? I'd say that eSport has single-handedly doubled the length of the pit stops. If we consider eSport news, it's doubled the length of the shows. Is that good? Is that bad? Is the focus and energy by the media, by the sanctioning bodies, by the sims themselves, affecting? We talk about this all the time. Anyway, let's keep it simple on this one instead of working into the how it's affected. But are you tired of esports, or do you want more? I think for me, I need it to be simplified just a little bit. And I need them to be a little bit more transparent with what they're doing and the structure of it. I mean, it's like when I think of the NFL or any professional sport, they do a really good job of letting you know who's involved, how many games, what's the score, what are the standings, what are the consequences of important games and things like that. I think eSport has gotten to the point where it's like very diluted. There are so many different variations, spins, twists, levels, and sometimes it even seems like it's being done in secrecy, where all of a sudden we just get the main event as though it's like the MMA, and that it's just like Dana White in charge of it, so to speak. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Are you tired of it? If you have any questions of me on the topic, other than that, just give me your opinions. If you have questions about it, type them into chat as well. But it's more better for the hobby. I agree. I think it's open doors for us to celebrities, to sanctioning bodies, to marquee licenses that we want to have in game. I think it's had a very positive effect in that direction. So you kind of got to, take that with it a little bit. Devin kind of agreeing with me a little bit. Maybe a little more structure would help it. I think the structure would help it be more clear. It's easier to be a fan of something if you clearly understand it. We cover it here, and I'm still at times unclear about what's what and all that kind of stuff. So Tim likes GT Sport and F1 eSport. Race Room is just not well done. iRacing not that interesting. Hemi, that's a great point. Hemi says he doesn't particularly like Simracing lumped into the term eSport. I agree. And how do we change that? Do we need to make it eSim Sport? eSim Racing? Do we need to drop the eSim Sport? I think that it really does. It is different. And that maybe we shouldn't just be lumped in with all the others. I agree, Mr. Thawman. Yeah, right now the management and it's hard to really concentrate on that because it's being done by each and every sim independently and differently, which is kind of part of the problem because, like, if you think of most sports, you don't have to necessarily follow one or the other. It's one, or you've changed sport. It's the NFL, or it's Major League Baseball, or the NBA. It's not so much like, I don't watch like they're trying to restart the XFL, I believe. I don't care about a secondary pro football league. I just don't. Maybe that's kind of part of the problem as well, perhaps. Not sure. Yes, Greg, you got to lose the gamer tags. How can we take this seriously? And that's another reason I say we need to be different than eSport. And all those Fortnite guys, let them run around with, Captain Pink Hair as their name, or 13G429 as their name, and let us be different. Let us be somewhat professional and carry our real names and real images and our real faces and being proud of what we do. Yep, Tim woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Yep, Techwear. As soon as someone hears eSport, they immediately think of, where's that one image we were talking about? Nope. Where was it? Am I going to be able to find it on the spot? Wasn't it, it was NASCAR Heat. Where is it? I can't find it. There we go. Sorry about that. Yes. When you think eSport, you think of this guy in the white shirt playing with his hands in his laps. When you think of sim sport, e-racing, you think of this. I agree 100%. Escort. Cofalino, that's very funny. Yep, Counter-Strike, StarCraft, exactly. That's immediately Fortnite. Yeah, Devin, SimSport. I think they need to make that change. I don't think they'd lose anything by doing it, I think it would be a good change. All right, one more thing that kind of overlaps. This is brought up by Tofi. I'm going to he wrote a pretty long thing, but I'm going to try to keep it simple. We talked earlier about safety rating versus iRating and iRacing. Now, Tofi, who admits he's one of the rookies of our group, wants to know your guys' thoughts and opinions about driving license path. So, looking specifically to iRacing today, because there's so many factors that affect your path. But what vehicles, what tracks, what skills, and when to introduce them? He's watched lots of our videos, what beginners do wrong or how they start. He's raced with us plenty. Everyone forgets the obvious facts. To finish the race, you have to do all the laps first. You know, in order to finish, well, you have to finish a race first to get anything out of it, right? All those advices are useless when you cannot finish a lap. So basically, what are your guys' real recommendations to people who are really just trying to understand and move up the license, like practice? Lack of skill. What do you do about lack of skill? How do you hone your skills? What do you do to get better? And then one step at a time. So anyway, I'll give you my thoughts. If anybody has any thoughts and opinions on path, here are my recommendations when it comes to iRacing. And you can use a lot of this outside of the structure of iRacing. You could use a lot of this thinking to just anything in sim racing. Doesn't matter what your sim of choice is. But number one, practice. Number two, you have to make friends. It is so much easier to get faster when you have people that you can work with, play with, ask questions of. If you just jump into random rooms and stay silent, you're not going to get there. Jesse Conroy actually reminds me that when we first met, long before we were like friends on Discord, that he had come in a room and introduced himself, you know, and said hi to me, and that he was a fan of the show, and that I was really gracious, and I think I helped him with the setup and some other things. But my point here is that he opened up and said hello. And I think that when you're in a good practice room and maybe you've shared a lap or two with somebody, it's cool. If you have friends, you're going to have a easier time getting setups. If you have friends, people that you see, like let's say you race at 8 o'clock all the time in the Skippy, you're going to find a lot of the same names. Like that's one of those series that a lot of people are going to race in. And maybe it's, you know, when you start to recognize people, you should be like, hey, Joe, I remember you were in the room on Monday night. And just say hello. I think that becoming integrated into the community is actually really, really cool as well. So yeah, that's one path. The other thing I'm going to tell you in iRacing is don't feel the need to climb the ladder any faster than you have to. Stay down in those lower ranks and really get to the point where you've mastered a car before you move on. And that's also going to help you on the finances with iRacing because you won't be buying a bunch of content trying to move into other series. Keep it simple. You know, use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I don't mean to call you stupid, but if you consume yourself with a lot of different things, it's going to be a lot harder to master any one thing at any one time. So those are the kind of things. Practice, 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 but it's not just turning laps. You know, if you just go drive, and then come back tomorrow and just drive, you're going to make improvements because you're getting that many more laps under your belt. However, if you drive, and then step away and debrief yourself, and by debrief, I mean watch your replay and be critical of yourself. If you're not getting to apex, if you're finding that you're consistently 3 feet off the apex, you're not really on the right racing line. So you need to be critical of yourself like a teacher would, like an instructor would, like a coach would, like a track boss would. So you need to not just drive, but you need to analyze. You need to analyze what you're doing. And you, through that, might start to get a sense of what you're feeling. And the more you could describe, like if you did 10 laps and came in and I was your coach, before I even got critical about what I saw, I might want to ask you your opinion. What did you feel? What was the car doing? And the more you can identify, and this comes from that debriefing, the more you can identify the car, you can either fix it through setup or fix it by being aware of it and changing your driving habits. If the brakes are locking up, increase your braking zones perhaps. So anyway, yes, I think that by self-analysis, making friends and asking for help, watching faster drivers, whether it be trying to tail them or whether it be watching their replays to see what they're doing, all of these things are going to be a lot of help. Side things, I know Tofi was considering ABS traction control. I personally would recommend running what the car you're driving. If you're running a GT3 car, you know what? Use all those things. That's what the real life driver's experiencing. You might as well do it that way as well. If you're running a Formula 79, maybe you should turn all that stuff off. And then lastly, match your competition. If you're running with us in the Skippy, there's no reason to go forcing yourself into more difficult things. Run what the gang's running. If people are running, a lot of driving aids, then you do it too. That could be talking about shifters. We could be talking about setup. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Not sure if that helps. Anybody has any thoughts on that? You can definitely chime in yours. I've seen some opinions and things. Yeah, Theodore, get that whiteboard. Write yourself some notes. This is all good stuff. Ask for help. People are real generous. If you're not in that eSport, if you're not in that sim sport level of sim racing, people are very generous. You will almost find every time you ask for a setup that somebody posts something. So anyway, you guys are with your names, real names, race under your real name for sure. Yes, Michael Green says he's always gone for the league environment. It built friendships and really helped with the learning curve. Often, in addition to what Michael said, leagues often have practice nights. You think of like Lionheart, which is a very hard league to get into, but they run practice nights. On practice nights, you're going to see a different level of generosity than on race night. Don't walk into a race and say, anybody have a setup? Because everybody kind of laughs at that guy because, what, you're going to take my setup and you haven't even driven it? You're going to load it up 5 minutes before the race? No, that's not how you do it. Join a league. It's easy to find practice nights, maybe a few nights of the week where you can get help from others, and that'll always pick up your game as well. The other nice thing about a league versus open racing is you're running against the same people. So you'll find, hey, I often finish 15th place, and what do you know? These are the names of the guys who are kind of always around me in that grouping. So you'll see your improvement over time as maybe you put one name who always beats you behind you, and then you start to make that consistent move up through the ranks within that league. So those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions on that. I'm not sure if I answered the question. I think in a roundabout way we answered parts of it at least. And Mr. Thawman, so that's very relevant. Mr. Thawman says he'd rather stick with his current username. I don't understand why people would want their private info out for the world to see, but to each their own. And, and that's a very fair statement. And as identity theft and things like that happen in time, I think that could become even more dangerous. So that's very relevant. At the same time, especially at the eSport level, well, that's like saying that professional sport players shouldn't use their real name. But I can't be a hero of... I can't read the names from here. I cannot be a hero of... a hero. I cannot be a huge fan of Fob Ear 95. It's just really hard for me to get on board with that. But we're also talking at the professional. It only needs to happen for eSport. Now, iRacing kind of makes you happen unless you figured out the workaround on that. But that's definitely a relevant point. I totally appreciate that. So we made an hour and 5 without Billy. Billy, you are missed. I just want you to know that from me. You were very missed on this show. glad you guys could be out here. Glad you had great thoughts and opinions, additions to the show to make it a great show. Reminder, Mitchie Hoyer is going to be streaming any minute from the GTR 24 from, where are they, Denmark, Netherlands, somewhere. That's going to be coming up on the show. And then later today at about 5 o'clock, I'll be live on Twitch as we do some pregame prep for tonight's Skippy race, and then we'll be back on YouTube at about 6:10, 6:15, somewhere in that ballpark with tonight's race from Phoenix, which it's going to be a barmer. I'm telling you guys, this is going to be an exciting race. We have some very fast drivers in that series. We have some very tight times that I've seen in practice, and it's a very challenging track. And it's one of those things you're going to see guys who are very good in the first 5-6 laps, and then you're going to see guys who really excel at the end with hot tires and low fuel. You're going to see that change. So you might see some guys get run down during the race. Should be really exciting. Come out, join us for the race. Join Simpit Skippy series on iRacing Leagues, or come out for the stream on YouTube or Twitch, or both. But that's going to do it for this one. Happy Friday, everybody. Get out there, do some racing, have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday with a new edition of the Pit Stop. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole. Are you not entertained? And I'll see you on the track.